and talk about this semifinal matchup between France and Germany. Right now, the score is 56-50. I believe that was what the score was. Right now, they're going into a timeout, so I couldn't really see the live score. But the game was very, very close at halftime. The score at halftime was 33-33. And, again, like, it was very, very close. Like, there was, I don't expect there to be any sort of blowout wins in this tournament going forward, unless it's, the United States. Like, I mean, it's very competitive because, a lot of these teams are going to be much more evenly matched than the United States against any other team. The Serbian team, the Serbian coach said that this was the best national team ever assembled, and this is, counting the Dream Team. This is also counting the Redeem Team. I personally, when it's all said and done, maybe I'll go ahead and I'll just do a review of the past best Olympic teams ever assembled in basketball, and I'll just talk about that. Let me know in the comments if that's what you guys want, but this is, considered to be one of the best Olympic rosters ever formed, and other than the United States, I don't think there's going to be any other game that's going to be, that's going to have blowouts. I don't think there's any other team that's going to blow out another team if it isn't the United States. Now, this is how the bracket looks as of right now for the men's standings. And again, as I mentioned before, whoever advances forward. I think France is going to advance forward, especially, with how this game is going. And again, I said the United States was going to advance and win the gold, so we still have to wait on that. The United States game, I believe that doesn't happen until like maybe 3 o'clock after this game has concluded. And I mean, usually the United States games are always at like 3 o'clock, but at halftime, for halftime, I just wanted to, give off the halftime stats. So again, the score was 33-33 at halftime, a very low scoring game, and it was Victor Wembanyama. Like, you might have thought that Victor wasn't, he hasn't really been. Oh my God, someone just broke Victor's ankles. Oh, and he missed. Ooh, that's gonna hurt him. He could have been internet famous for about 2 days just for breaking Wemby's ankles. But aside from that, I mean, the rest of the team hasn't really been playing that well. In the half, they went 1 for 12 from 3. Yet somehow they were still tied, which just goes to show you just how great this, French team is. The fact that they can go 1 for 12 and they can still be tied in this game. And meanwhile, Germany was going 4 for 12 and they were still struggling. Now, the players that have been, I was going to say the good players, I apologize for that, but there are a lot of players on Germany that haven't seen the court and haven't really produced that much, despite the fact that they've seen the court. Like, for example, Franz Wagner, I mean, he's playing pretty well right now. I mean, he was, at the first half, he had 7 points and was 1 for 3 from 3, but there are several other players that aren't really, doing their justice, like France's brother, Mortice Wagner, who ended up going 1 for 4 from the field in the half, as well as, just 1 for 4 on 2-point shots. So it's not very ideal. Dennis Schroeder, he went 2 for 5 in the first half and was 1 for 3 from 3. And it's not really like, no one has really stood out in this game. It's been very, very, I guess you could say, defensive-minded, and a lot of players, I mean, they're shooting poorly. If you guys, curious what's going on, like, one of the German players just airballed very badly, and it hit nothing but the backboard. It was gross. But as of right now, the third quarter just ended, and the score is 56-50. I think these players, I don't know what it is, they might be a little bit nervous. I don't know. That's sort of what it looks like, because these performances, at least the play that I'm seeing in these games, it's very mid. Like, it's not all that. Like, you don't really see anybody taking over the game. It seems like everybody on the court is a little bit nervous. Now, I don't know how this is going to fare against the United States, because, if we're being totally frank, if you were to get this nervous against the United States, you would immediately lose, and the United States would pounce on you like this. And so the fact that the game is still close, despite the fact that these guys, they aren't really playing all that well, and like no one's really stepping up. It just goes to show you where they're at in this game and where they're at mentally. Because like, I'm not even gonna lie, Victor is playing horrible. He is playing horribly in these games. He's 3 for 14 from the field with 7 points, 0 for 5 from 3, 3 for 9 from inside the arc. And again, it's just horrible. Now, there are a lot of times where he is getting double teamed, but there are also a lot of times where he has the ball and he's just not doing much with it. And for someone who is so much taller than everyone else on the court, I don't really expect this from him. And again, the players of the game are Gershon Yabusele, who has 15 points on 7 for 10 from the field, and Isaiah Cordiner. And I've mentioned these guys in the previous segment where they had these surprising games. It looks like these two are the driving force for the French team, especially in this matchup right now. Like, he is crazy locked in these games. Like, Isaiah Cordiner, 6 for 11 from the field, 14 points. They're both the leading scorers for this team, and Victor has taken more shots than both of them. It just goes to show you just how well they're playing. And it's really like the fact that, the French team is able to have this kind of, lead, I guess you could say, without Victor playing really well, just goes to show you just how good this French team really is. Now, should also be noted, Rudy Gobert has barely seen the floor in a lot of these games. Like, barely seen the floor. In these tournament he's only seen the court for 5 minutes in this game. Just goes to show you, like, how valuable he is in an era where there's, like, so much spacing at the three-point line. I mean, I think France just has way too much inside threats, and, having Rudy Gobert there would only make things a little bit worse. I don't know, but it's like, maybe because they did play against Germany before, and they did lose with Germany with Rudy Gobert in the starting lineup against Germany and playing consistent minutes. So maybe this was sort of like their adjustment to Germany's lineup, trying to fix the lineup as well as they possibly can. And I mean, they're getting a lot of steals, they're getting a lot of turnovers. It's just Germany is really like having trouble hitting these threes. They just hit one right now, but they're really having trouble hitting these threes. And like, this matchup between France and Germany, obviously, it's one of those matchups that, quote, could feed families, because it's like, it's very competitive. And compared to what the United States is going to play against Serbia, I think this is going to be the only competitive game in the men's standings as of, like, going forward. Because I don't think the finals is going to be that competitive. Now, the third place matchup might be competitive, but I don't really think it will be. Like, compared to this game and how competitive this game is. Because, like, while I feel like the athletes, they get more drive out of them when they're fighting for gold and when they're fighting for a spot for gold, as opposed to fighting for bronze, Like, I think if you win the bronze medal, that's like a slap in the face, but that's just me. And again, Dennis Schroeder, he's definitely picked it up for Germany a little bit, but really Germany just is struggling to find shots and is struggling to find a decent rhythm to combat against the French team. Like, the French are playing really well, and, well, at least, to enter this next half, they're playing a lot better than what they played in the first half. Maybe because now, the home field advantage is working for them. But, like, they seemed, like, very nervous at the start. But now they sort of, like, they've gotten a feel for it seems like. And the German team is just struggling to hit three-pointers. Like, if they were to be hitting their three-pointers in this game, I think this would be a blowout for the German team. But that's really all that I have to talk about in this matchup. Again, like, the United States, they're going to play a little bit later once this game has concluded. And, I mean, this is really, like, the big game that everyone's been watching right now, because, again, it determines who gets to play for the gold medal between the United States. Now, I know the United States hasn't played yet, but I really feel like they're going to end up making it to the finals and winning the gold altogether. But aside from that, we're going to go ahead and go into the second segment where I talk about a little bit of an article, like just a little bit of the article, because I have, opinions on this. But Quinn Cook, he recently named Steph Curry the greatest point guard of all time over Magic. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about that after this short break. So be sure to stay tuned for my thoughts on that. And I will be right back.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the